think you can beat Joe Biden?
I'm leading in almost all of the polls against him. I'm leading by a lot, much more than Ron is leading. Ron's losing to him in many of the polls. I think we beat him by a lot. I don't know that he's going to be the candidate, but if he is the candidate, I think we'd beat him by a lot.
That was a first on Fox exclusive of former President Trump on with Maria on Sunday Morning Futures. Trump sounding optimistic about his 2024 chances. This is President Biden taking a victory lap after June's CPI report showed inflation at its lowest level in over 2 years. President claiming it's Bidenomics in action. Joining me now is Pennsylvania Congressman Dan Meuser. He is a member of the House Financial Services and Small Business Committees. Congressman, good morning to you. You know, I actually interviewed candidate Chris Christie last week, and he said the same thing. He said Americans are paying more for food, paying more for gas, and that President Biden has got a Jimmy Carter situation on his hands. Remember, inflation is what made Jimmy Carter a one-term president.
Yeah, no question. The so-called Bidenomics is nothing more than a high level of excessive spending and assault on our domestic energy industry, causing inflation and real serious consequences. I mean, you know, my constituencies it's costing them $700, $800, $900 a month. It's crushing small business. It really is. You know, small businesses might be selling more in certain sectors, but they're making less and they're working more. So Bidenomics is making goods unaffordable, rattling the business world, weakening America's economy, and it shows. It shows. Even the transportation infrastructure, big money that was put into it, $1.2 trillion. We're not seeing it. Where's the infrastructure development? Where's the plan? This administration has absolutely no plan for our economy, for our national security, or for, frankly, America's future.
Well, and also, Congressman, you could definitely make the case that this nation is less energy independent than we were before, and that Americans remember that. And that should be the message from whether it's former President Trump, now candidate Trump again, or others in the GOP field. Let's talk about climate, because you got President Biden's climate envoy, John Kerry. He's in Beijing today. So he's urging China to cut methane emissions and reduce their reliance on coal. But just last week, Kerry actually refused to call Xi Jinping a dictator. Watch this.
The president called Xi Jinping, called him a dictator. Do you believe he wields the power of a dictator today in China?
There's no question at all that President Xi is the major decider of the direction and of the policies of
Is he,
China.
in fact, effectively a dictator?
Well, I'm not, I don't think it's useful to get into, I'm not going to get into.
But he does wield the power of
He wields enormous power as the leader of China, absolutely.
Congressman, John Kerry is now the third Biden administration official to go to China in just the last few weeks. First, it was Secretary of State Blinken. Then it was Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, and now John Kerry. And so far, none of them really seem to have anything to show for these, let's just say, shows that they're putting on in China.
No. You know, and it is systematic. It's not just John Kerry. I've dealt with John Kerry when I was on Foreign Affairs last term. John Kerry had a huge failure with the Iran nuclear deal way back. He was desperate for that deal. He's desperate for some sort of negotiation here. And what is our plan, I asked the administration, for reduction in carbon emissions? Because there really isn't one. It's reduce fossil fuels or else. And honestly, that's the approach Kerry has taken with our banks. That's the approach that the SEC takes with American businesses. We have no plan for transitioning into natural gas or working with the energy companies to actually reduce emissions, as opposed to thinking that we're going to go green and everything's going to be run on batteries. And meanwhile, you got people like Gavin Newsom saying, hey, you got to have electric cars, but you know what? You can't charge them at night.
Right.
That's how ridiculous this administration is. We have no plan. We have a vacuum of leadership, and we're literally bowing to the CCP, not dealing from a position of strength at all. They're looking out for their interests. we got to be looking out for America's interests.
Well, Congressman, to be clear here, if you look at 2021, who was the biggest polluter in the world? It was China, but it was followed by the United States, India, and then Russia. But you bring up an interesting point about basically power supplies in this country, because now we're more dependent on the Saudis and really the Russians, because that's an OPEC Plus story when it comes to oil. And then you've also got, we've got this incredibly hot summer. Temperatures are soaring to dangerous levels in parts of the country. You've got people worried about the power grid in Arizona. You've got people worried about the power grid in Texas. So if the Biden administration is, they've had now over 2 years to bring in all that green energy online, and it doesn't seem to be there.
Real serious issues. You mentioned Jimmy Carter before. If there's one thing we should have learned from Jimmy Carter is the importance of energy independence, if not energy dominance, as President Trump talks about and will deliver should he be back in office. But we have some real grid issues coming up. We are having a severe heat wave right now, no question. So the level of energy use in states is certainly almost reaching perhaps crisis levels because of the cutbacks on production capacity for investment in American energy industries. And as you stated, that leaves us vulnerable to the likes of OPEC and others. So we really need a grand look at things, not a go green or else view of things. And that does include natural gas. It includes the cleanest oil emissions in the world. That comes from the U.S. And granted, let's all talk about being conservationists and environmentalists, but we need a realistic plan, not this heavy-handed government plan that's coming out of the Biden administration and is completely unrealistic and only weakens us. National security and our
Bidenomics. Yeah, that's what he's running on. Bidenomics. Congressman Dan Meuser. Congressman, it's good to see you.